a bike mechanic, and I also am the founder of Be Pedal Ready. Be Pedal Ready is about having maintenance classes for women. We feel that it's really important to have a space that they feel safe in, that is for them, because there's hardly any of it, and also it is being taught by a woman. And we've also created rides as well, and we're doing it from our local community, so our rides are going from Plattfields Park and also Alexandra Park.
All right, are we all ready to ride? Yeah! Get on your bikes, get behind that big massive flag, and let's make lots of noise.
So today it's the very first ride for women. It's the first time this ride is happening. It's the first time it's happening in Manchester.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. And also as well, especially for me, because I'm from Manchester, so like seeing this happening in my home city is incredible.
I mean, it's just fabulous. You just think if Mrs. Pankhurst could see now, surrounded by bikes, that we're all part of the suffragette movement, and just to see all the girls together today, I think that's absolutely brilliant. I think she'd be absolutely delighted.
It's about women coming together, feeling safe on the road, feeling like we've got freedom that everyone else has to just be out here.
It has been a sort of catalyst to being more independent, doing things outdoors, riding differently, riding more.
Can't be what you can't see. So it's so important that we have women in their full diversity represented, and this is such a great way, in a really joyful way actually, of us gathering and just showing that as women we want to be out on our bikes. This is about our freedom and about our independence.
We are a part of the change to diversify the cycling sector. The reason why I created it is because when I'm looking around the cycling industry, I realised that there's not very many people who look like myself, and there's also not very many women in it. There's this whole kind of myth that women don't want to fix bikes. Well, that's not true, because when we create these workshops, they're actually selling out, and more women are wanting to do it. But some people in their minds just can't get their heads around that there's a woman holding a spanner in her hands. Like, they're just like, they just don't get it. You know, I have had responses where it's double take from women, and that actually has been sometimes really amazing, because I've had a few women who've commented to me and said, wow, I've actually questioned my normal. And that's really good, when they've actually gone, wow, I've questioned my normal and how that is. I wasn't expecting you to be there. But again, it just makes you more determined of, wow, we're in the year 2023 and we're still hearing these responses. It just makes me more determined, even though it is difficult and it is hard, to just keep going. Women should get into cycling because we have a liberty and a right to be on a bike. Representation really matters. If you want change, you have to have different types of people in different industries and different sectors, and it's the only way we will have change.
My name is Heidi Hinder-Chadwick, and I'm Manchester born and bred. I am a writer. A lot of things that I end up playing with are about my identity as a woman. For me, feminine energy is about being really embodied in the substance of who I am. So really being comfortable in my body just as it is. I have that sense of, like, here's my belly, here are my bones, here's my curves and my flesh. I think that's the beautiful thing about being a woman. It can be expressed in whatever way we want to at any time. Movement for me, when I'm moving, I suppose it makes me feel my womanness, my curves. It connects me back into feeling my power, connects me back into my body. And it's such a powerful way of expressing. We are beautiful as women, and we can get very self-conscious around allowing ourselves to move and to express that. I'm really proud to be a woman, and maybe for the first time in my life just hitting 50, really feeling the power of that. I'm also in perimenopause at the moment, and so I've written a few things around my own experience around that. I've not had a bleed now for coming up to 5 months. And it's an interesting one in that part of that feminine energy that we're speaking of, for me, has always been connected to tides, to cycles, to the moon, to the waves of the sea. We can live our lives by that. And at the moment it's really interesting because I've not got any of that. I feel that being at this place where my cycles are changing, I've been feeling this, you hear about it when you're younger, like you get to a certain age and you just don't give a fuck anymore, and you feel a lot kind of freer, and it's true, it just kind of seems to happen, and it has more of a fierceness, more of a balls to it. And actually I learned something last year, that there's a phase apparently that has been wiped out over the years between the mother, the fertile time, and crone, which we hear about as the elder, which actually makes so much sense, to go from finishing bleeding to then suddenly being in your wisdom. No. And then there's all these women that are a bit lost, and there's all this stuff going on, and they feel like things are breaking down, or they feel like they've had enough of certain things. I think it's also where we see where we've neglected maybe our own desires and longings. And I think it's through that alchemy that we become crone. So how I use tarot myself is often then would start by maybe pulling a card or a few cards myself just to get a sense of. For me, the cards will represent what I know. They'll just echo something that is already there within me, whether it's something I don't really want to admit to or see. There are 3 cards that at the moment really resonate for me for this bridge between the mother and the crone energy this age. And the first one is the Empress card. For me, she represents that full-bodied, sensual, feminine energy, earthy. The second card is the Queen of Wands. For me, she is the mistress of creativity. It's like she has this magic wand, and whatever it is that she wants to create, she will create. For me, she embodies our power alongside our creativity, how we use it, and our sexuality as well. And then the other one, it's the Devil card, which I love this card. She's nestling in with the devil. She likes it there. And for me, this one speaks to this place where we're not the nice girl anymore, we're not the good girl anymore, we're not the one that's sitting politely with our legs crossed. It's the place of taboo. I think we're so full of desires as women, and we're made of desire. And I think for many women, especially getting to this age, those wells are dry. And that for me feels part of watering, like reviving our soul very deeply. Reclaim your witch, bitch. We didn't burn for nothing. They didn't know that to burn us up would unleash the phoenix, would battle scar us with deeper wisdom. An eternal flame. Her fire, ours. And still we rise. Be you. Shine and bleed and roam with dirty feet and blood trickling upon the lands. Stand up for your daughters, for your sisters, for yourself. A revolution is a-coming. It's just a slow birth on those open seas. I love you, dear womankind. Happy International Women's Day.
I'm Grace.
I'm Robin. I'm Sterling, and we're
The Red Stains.
It's got like several connotations, as you can imagine. We done this interview once. He was like, so what does the red stains mean? And we were like, what do you think it means? But it can also mean, like, you know, a ketchup or wine stain on your carpet that you can't get out and you need to get a carpet cleaner. We are this stain on your carpet that you can't get out. I was so inspired by like punk music and just the enthusiasm and the energy from it.
For us, there was definitely this feeling of like, why can't we do it too? You know, why shouldn't we be able to do it? You know, I'm self-taught on bass, Natalie's self-taught on vocals, and we just thought, well, you know, we've got some things we want to say, we've got so many ideas, let's just do it, let's just make some music, because the world needs more feminine people screaming about things. You know, we need more feminine voices in music, and I think that was, you know, kind of why we wanted to do it, I guess.
For me, like, femininity has been such a confusing thing. Like, for the longest time, I felt like, especially expressing like the way I look in a feminine way, felt like me putting on a costume, you know what I mean, for like validation, that I would just constantly try and like fit into that little mold. And it's only since being able to like express myself outside of that I've actually started to feel more feminine.
So I think like feminine energy means to me is like fully embracing exactly who I want to be. In the early years of like starting the band and stuff, I was quite like insecure with like my femininity and things like that. You know, I've always loved things that are really girly, but I felt like if I expressed that, I wouldn't be taken seriously as like a punk performer. When I finally found the confidence to kind of, you know, just say, okay, I'm gonna be who I want to be. It's like, it doesn't matter if you've got a fake tan and long nails and you like wearing high heels, or you've got a mohawk and a leather jacket. I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes, and I'm here to, you know, crash them down and be a representation for all my hyper-femme queens.
Being feminine, choosing femininity consciously is maybe one of the most radical things you can do, you know? I'm gender fluid, and for me, like, when I choose femininity, I choose it so consciously. I think it's something that deserves to be celebrated and deserves to be seen as the power that it is, because it scares people. People are afraid of femininity. We live in a world that's so misogynistic and will try and batter any little tiny bit of femininity out of anyone, you know?
We can only hope that we can be that kind of inspiration to any women that come to our shows, or feminine people that come to our shows.